Trey Young might be finished as an Atlanta Hawk. And it has happened in such a kind of disappointing fashion. Because a few years ago, when they made the Eastern Conference Finals, you thought maybe, possibly, Atlanta was going to have their guy. But Trae Young is basically whipped cream. How so? Look, it looks good. It tastes good. But is it really necessary on top of a chocolate cake to make it taste good? Not necessary. He's the icing on top of a cake, which is good if you're having him be your second star or third star, but not the guy that's going to bring your organization an NBA championship. And this is a story of how fans in general fall in love with guards. They love flashy guards, the Allen Iversons, the Stephon Marburys, the John Walls, the Derrick Roses of the world. But how many of those have produced NBA championships? I'll wait. Isaiah Thomas, Steph Curry, and the list ends there. The flashy guard doesn't necessarily bring you an NBA championship as your number one option. Now, Dwayne Wade, you can make a case for, but he was more of a shooting guard than a point guard. So in general, I think this is where people get in trouble with Trae Young. They're trying to replicate the success of Steph Curry. He's a good shooter. He's a good passer, but he's not as a good shooter as Steph Curry. Steph Curry is an anomaly. And I think that was the problem when people were looking at Trae Young as a prospect. They're like, all right, we're going to get the next Steph Curry. There is no next Steph Curry. He's a one of one. Plain and simple to me. Now, when we saw him do his success in the Eastern Conference Finals, this was really important because he does have that dog in him. There are some huge and good qualities about Trae Young. He's competitive. He can score. He's not afraid of anyone. But these all point to me as a great number two option. And there is a fit out there, and I know a lot of people have talked about it, but the San Antonio Spurs and Trae Young, if Trae Young is okay with being the number two fiddle to Victor Wembanyama, would work. Trae Young could do wonders in San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama. Imagine him being able, you double team Wemby. Well, he's going to find Trae Young. Trae Young is going to penetrate and pass the ball. We already see Trae Young is pretty good at getting assists, but imagine him just feeding the ball to Victor Wembanyama and how amazing of a situation that would be for the big man of France. But he has to say, I'm okay with being the number two option, or that just won't work either. Trae Young is immensely talented. Trae Young is fun to watch. And Trae Young, I think, could still find success somewhere as a number two option. He's already successful, don't get me wrong. I'm talking about playoff success. That Eastern Conference Finals he went to with the Hawks in his, second or third year in the league, I think it was an anomaly. And in general, I think Trae Young is done in Atlanta. They're probably going to go get someone else, and we can finally stop talking about, was it Trae Young over Luka the right pick? No. Luka is a generational talent. Trae Young is probably a handful-time all-star. Thank you so much for watching this video. My name is George on Tap. This is Hoops on Tap, part of the Sports on Tap network. If you want to find more of my videos and my personal content, it's more about my life and not just basketball. That is at George on Tap. You can see it in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and we're going to see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe.